Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Learn from sports, progress step by step. Sign up so you don't miss out.
The insights shared by coach Vern Cotter after the Blues' 40-15 victory over Fijian Drua made me reflect deeply, not so much on the score itself, but on the way he viewed the match: candid, calm, and constructive. A big win often makes people complacent, sometimes overlooking underlying issues. But Cotter went in the opposite direction. He did not hesitate to point out that his team started slowly, handled the ball poorly, and missed several key opportunities in the first half. This made me realize a very clear lesson. The final result never tells the whole truth of a process. Success does not mean perfection. In my own life, there have been many times when I achieved a good result and allowed myself to feel satisfied too early. But upon closer inspection, there are always mistakes and shortcomings that, if left unaddressed, will become weaknesses in the future. Cotter's analysis of the match made me understand that self-reflection after every success is crucial, not for self-blame, but for growth. Another noteworthy point is how he emphasized the resilience of the opponent.
Drua were not stronger on the scoreboard, but they caused the Blues significant difficulty in the first half. This reminded me that in any competition, opponents have their own value. Respecting them is not just courtesy, it's a way to prevent overconfidence. I was particularly struck by the detail that the Blues repeatedly entered the danger zone but failed to score. This serves as a clear metaphor: having an opportunity does not guarantee taking advantage of it. In life, we often come close to success but fail at the final step, sometimes due to lack of focus, insufficient skill, or simply indecision. Cotter did not assign blame, he identified the problem specifically: small mistakes, inaccurate plays. This made me realize that failure rarely stems from major errors, it often accumulates from repeated minor mistakes. Without attention to detail, we easily lose the advantages we have worked hard to create. Another aspect that made me reflect was how the team responded after halftime.
They did not panic or rush, but regrouped and became more practical. This is crucial. In difficult moments, strong emotions are less important than clarity. Knowing where you stand, what needs to be done, and how to adjust is key to turning things around. I see this applying clearly to personal life. When facing challenges, my instinct is sometimes to worry or try to fix everything immediately. But experience shows that hasty decisions rarely yield good outcomes. Instead, pausing, reassessing, and finding the right approach is far more effective. The second half of the match demonstrated adaptability. The Blues changed their playing style, diversified their attack, improved defense, and capitalized on counterattacks. This shows that a team needs not only skill but also the ability to learn and adjust in real time. I realized that flexibility is one of the most crucial factors for development. The initial plan is not always effective.
What matters is whether we are open enough to change it. Often, failure is not due to a bad plan, but because we are too rigid to adapt it. Cotter also mentioned an interesting psychological factor: the risk of letting up before a break. This happens easily, not just in sports, but in work and study. As a milestone approaches, people tend to slow down, lose focus, and make mistakes. This made me realize that discipline is not only needed in difficult times but is especially important during moments that seem easy. One of the most positive messages from Cotter's talk is the concept of growth. He did not see a slow start as a serious problem, but as part of the learning process. This perspective is worth emulating. Instead of being overly harsh on shortcomings, he views them as signs of development. This made me reflect on how I confront mistakes. Often, I tend to be overly self-critical, seeing mistakes as failures. But from Cotter's perspective, mistakes are simply data, information to improve.
Changing this mindset reduces pressure and increases motivation to progress. Another remarkable point is patience. Cotter emphasizes understanding when to apply pressure and when to ease off. This skill is not easy, it requires sensitivity and experience. In life, trying harder is not always the solution. Sometimes, knowing when to pause brings better results. Victory is not just joy, it is also an opportunity to reflect. A strong team is not one without weaknesses, but one that recognizes and addresses them. This allows fans to understand and engage with the team more deeply, rather than just looking at the score. What happened in this match reflects many universal values: effort, teamwork, adaptability, patience, and a learning mindset. These are essential not only in sports but in every human life. I take away several clear lessons for myself. First, always evaluate yourself honestly, even after good results.
Second, pay attention to small details, as they can determine success or failure. Third, remain calm and practical in difficult times. Fourth, be ready to change and adapt when needed. And finally, View every mistake as an opportunity to grow. For the fan community, the lesson lies in appreciating sports more deeply. Instead of only cheering for victory, understand the process behind it. Value the challenges, the mistakes, and the quiet effort. These are what give sports their true meaning. Progress does not come from perfection, but from continuous learning and adjustment. No one avoids mistakes, but how we respond to them shapes who we are. I did not just see a rugby match, I saw a life lesson. A lesson in facing success and failure, in working together, and in constantly moving forward. And perhaps that is the greatest value that sports bring, not just moments of entertainment, but inspiration for each person to become better.
Look beyond the results, learn from mistakes, adapt, and improve every day. See you soon.